My name is Elliot Goldrick, and I have hemophilia B. For fun, I definitely enjoy biking and swimming, specifically mountain biking. So Texas has a lot to offer. There's plenty of really nice parks that I enjoy riding in. Growing up, whenever I had a bleed from about 5 to 10 years old, it was prior to companies sending Factor to my doorstep. So it would require that my mom take me to the emergency department in Austin. And as you can imagine, that is a pretty laborious task to go up there, check in, meet with the doctors, and then knowing what you need, but having to go through kind of the rigmarole of telling them, hey, I just need some Factor because my ankle's bleeding or whatever it might be. So that was kind of the early childhood for me. And then as I got older, 9, 10 years old, we started receiving Factor at the house, which really made things a lot easier to manage the condition. And then around that same time, same age, around 10 years old, started attending Hemophilia Camp. And I totally encourage folks in the community living with hemophilia that they attend these camps, because it really helps strengthen your confidence when it comes to, just living and managing with it and identifying with other people who are in the same shoes you're in, but really most importantly, learning to self-infuse. It was a breakthrough moment for me to go from the HTC or from my mom encouraging me to learn to seeing guys younger than me, older than me, that were successfully self-infusing and being able to live an active, healthy lifestyle. When talking to kids in elementary about hemophilia, it's kind of tricky because, you'd show up one day, walking into class, sitting down just like everyone else. The next day you might show up on crutches because you have an ankle bleed. And it's different than the kid that's in another class that actually broke his leg and had a cast, so you can see exactly, oh, you had a broken leg, so you're on crutches. Versus with hemophilia, you're constantly having to explain yourself because you don't necessarily have a cast just for an ankle bleed. You might have an ACE wrap and you follow the rest ice compression elevation routine, and it would be tricky explaining to other classmates exactly what the condition was. As I got older and graduated high school and moved out on my own and started to go to college, another milestone for me was just learning how to order your Factor, learning how to order the appropriate supplies, get it shipped on time. And in Texas, we have triple degree heat, so it was important that you could receive the package when the delivery guy made the delivery, so it wasn't in the heat for too long. As well as the insurance side of things, being very aware of how long you would be on your parents' insurance, and if there was any lapse or change in insurance and things of that nature. It really did teach me a lot, and those were some of the key milestones to learning to manage living with hemophilia B.